You're listening to Life with DJ Sessions right here on WCSUFM.org.
Welcome back to Life with DJ Sessions. My NMLS number is 271823. Today's episode is talking a little bit about the lessons that I learned. Where do I get my lessons from? How am I learning? Where am I getting my information? Because it's one thing to, give financial literacy to other people online, right? There's this talk now that everyone's a financial guru, and I never claimed to be a financial guru, right? Never once, right? My story is out there. Wrote a book called Pride, Passionate, Resilient, Independent, Driven Entrepreneur, right? It's on Amazon. Check it out. If you want to know a little bit about my story and a little bit about the mindset that I wrote about, right? The mindset that you got to have. But those are my thoughts, right? I've definitely have learned a lot over the years. And I know I did an episode where I talked about thank you for people in my immediate circle. I may have left out a few people that have come to mind after the fact, but in 2023, right, kind of going into the fall of 2023, what's going on? Like, who do I listen to? Where am I getting my lessons from? Well, I will tell you, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people you can follow. There's a lot of people telling their story, telling what they can do, giving you advice. I'll start with one of the things as he likes to say, right? He's the king of kings, king of content. Coach Greg Adams, he definitely gives really good content. And I can't keep up with his shows. I try to watch when I can. I don't believe 100%. I'd say about 99.9, but at the end of the day, he's one of the content creators that I follow, I listen to. I also listen to Tariq Nasheed. With the whole foundational Black American, as a foundational Black American, with the big forehead. I know he likes to clown people with big foreheads, but, it's nice that we have someone not only did books and movies on our history, right, that we weren't taught in school, but then you take it a step further and we talk about today, right, and just pointing out some of the things that is going on right in front of our face. And I think if you're not having people point certain things out, right, or if you're not really paying attention, you're going to get lost. That's important. Who else do I follow? I do follow Boyce Watkins. I know that he's gotten some controversy recently, but and not really even controversy. I think some of it's a lot in the hearsay, but I think, again, you're talking about someone who's opening your mind to things you weren't aware of. He introduced me to Dr. Claude Anderson. I didn't know about Dr. Claude Anderson, right, prior to starting to listen to Dr. Watkins. Again, I don't agree with everything he says and does, but I do appreciate someone at least trying to uplift the community, right? Same thing with Jay Morrison, right? I know that I'm a Tulsa Fund investor as well, right? I believed in the hype, and at the end of the day, am I a satisfied investor? Listen, I'm not saying that things could have been one way or the other, but I think at the end of the day, if I want people to support my business, I got to support their business. Now, is it right? Is it wrong? Listen, I'm not a judge or jury, right? I'm just someone who's living a life and trying to actually do what I can in the space that I can deal with, right? I also like pocket watching, right? Pocket watching with JT. He's some of the things that, he kind of, expose you. And I think that's necessary in the culture, if you think about it, right? You got to have people willing to say, hey, look, this isn't right, or what's this and what's that. And I know the show isn't all about that, but at the end of the day, you got to be aware, you got to be on point. You can't even miss a step nowadays. You go a week, 2 weeks without really kind of paying attention to what's going on. You can miss a whole thing, right? And I'm not even saying, I don't even watch TV, right? I watch YouTube, right? I read articles, all right? I read books. That's about it. Speaking of books, what are we talking about here? There was a book recently that was recommended to me, and it's slipping my mind because I started reading it, and I kind of it didn't slip my mind. But let's talk about what else do we do, when we talk about lessons, right? I think that when it relates to someone who is trying to better themselves, uplift themselves. I think, yeah, it's okay to listen to other people online. It's okay to seek advice from people. I also think it's okay to be critical about what people are saying, right? You know, one of the other things I was going to mention on this video, you know, I'm a big hip hop fan, right? I grew up born late '77, right? So I'm definitely a Gen Xer. And I was a teenager in the 90s, right? And so for me, Nas, Wu-Tang, Outkast, Tupac, Ice Cube, you know, NWA, Dr. You know, a lot of these hip hop. I know, you know, I mentioned Tariq earlier about doing the documentary. You know, at the end of the day, you know, this is a part of our culture, and I think that that's something that I listen. That's something that I follow, right? When you talk about how am I getting my lessons, I'm not saying I'm listening to a rap music and all of a sudden I'm regurgitating facts, but I think sometimes information that's said through music can, you know, have a lasting effect on you, right? You know, so that's important. I think it's important to be yourself, and that's one thing I've learned, right? You know, I mentioned being a foundational Black American and someone who, you know, when you read the book, you'll know that I spent years in the foster care system, right? I spent years in a predominantly 99% white town, right? Where I didn't really understand even my identity as a person, who I was. But I will tell you, coming out of that, I learned a lot of lessons about people. I learned not all people from all races are bad, right? I also learned that, you know, it is about the character of someone. And it's also, you know, about the energy that you give, right? If I'm giving out positive energy, you know, the universe will return that back to me threefold, right? If I'm a negative person, or if I'm someone who is out here doing bad, you best believe that's probably going to come back to me in another way. So that's another kind of lesson that I try to, you know, teach to my children. You know, I try to teach to my granddaughter, right? My friends, my family. And so the beauty of one of the things that I'm learning as I'm getting older is the more I do not know, right? I don't know a lot of stuff, right? In fact, that's one of the things that I'm kind of struggling with now is, you know, we all have our 24 hours, right? We all have 24 hours. We wake up in this world. One of the things I talk about is we're born into it, right? Did I get to choose my life that I wanted? Did I get to choose my family, my race, my ethnic background, my socioeconomic background? No, I was just born into it, right? But I do come from a lineage, right? And so when you recognize that lineage, then I think it's up to that person to do something about it for the next generation, right? I say all that to say that, you know, I'm sitting here trying to learn new skills, right? Trying to take on new lessons, trying to be a good business owner, right? A true entrepreneur when you're truly working for yourself 100%, right? Those challenges have been very eye-opening, right? The other thing is that you also trying to expand that mind, trying to increase that elasticity, you know, and with all that being said, right? I'm saying that continue to evolve, you know, right? Continue to grow, because I think that challenges yourself, but it also challenges you to be better, you know? So where else do I get lessons from? Right, I definitely read some industry news. I mean, I do watch sometimes CNBC, you know, read the Journal sometimes. You know, again, everything, there's a lot of stuff being online. I mean, I kind of click through a few, you know, Scotsman Guide, Mortgage Originator, Fannie, Freddie, some of the guidelines and the industry news that goes on there. And then sometimes I watch a little ratchet TV. You know, sometimes I may watch, you know, a little reality TV, right? Sometimes I may watch, you know, some sports, right? I mean, you know, I'm a big basketball fan. I love LeBron James. I'm not going to get into the whole argument who's the GOAT and all that, but I'm you know, of course, LeBron's from Ohio, right? How can I, you know, I mean, come on now. Oh, rapper I forgot to mention earlier, Sean Carter, aka Jigga Man, right? We know. Again, now, and I mentioned Nas earlier with Jay-Z, and so one thing I'll mention about that is, you know, one of the things I appreciate them for doing is they talk about what's going on today, and they, you know, I remember Nas on that one song, he said, this economic, racial inequality, gangsters calling people out to say, hey, we got to solve this, right? And I think if we don't do our job in the limited time that we're here, right? Think about that, right? Think about that for a second. We're not even here that long. We're a speck. All right? Do your part, right? Do your part. Anyway, so listen, I'm rambling now, going on 10 minutes on another lesson in financial empowerment. You know, that again, that's my show. I'm just trying to put my little slice out there, right? No one's saying that, you know, I have all the answers, but I will say that, you know, I'm trying to do my part. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You're listening to Life with DJ Sessions. Special thanks goes to Wade Oberlin of OnOurOwnRadio.com, Charles Fox, K-Divas Music Media, and the BDG Network. For more lessons in financial empowerment, stay tuned right here on WCSUFM.org for more Life with DJ Sessions.